What's up, everyone? Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and I'm about to interview the undefeated UFC lightweight, Andrew Holbrook. Now, he is 11-0. He has had one fight inside the UFC thus far, which was a tough split decision victory over Ramsey Nijem. And he has a fight coming up on, I believe it's the TUF 23 finale. So let's give him a call and see what he's doing.
Hello?
Mr. Holbrook.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing? Eddie Mercado here with Bloody Elbow.
Hey.
How you been, man?
Same old stuff, just training. It's all good. How about you?
Oh, I'm well. So you're 11-0, undefeated in the UFC lightweight division. You're coming off.
Just that.
Your debut was against Ramsey Nijem, a close split decision victory, and it's been a year since we've seen you. And so you want to kind of catch us up a bit on what this past year has been like and exactly what the gap has been all about.
Oh, after the fight, I went to Thailand back in December. I got back, was supposed to fight Sage Northcutt in January, and I broke my foot like a week before the fight, so I had to pull that out.
Oh,
so
man.
the past couple months, I was in a boot, so not a whole lot I could do.
Okay.
So just
Is that a fight you want to get back?
oh yeah, that'd be great. I got to show that I just getting back out because I was scared or anything for sure.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you guys are fighting around the same time, so perhaps, that could be.
Get the wins and set it up.
Would you possibly call him out with a victory?
Don't really care. I'm not big on the calling out stuff, but I definitely, if they want to fight, if he wants to fight, still do the fight. That's fine with me. I'm more than happy to do it. I just fight. That's what I do. It's fun.
Okay. Now, how did you get into fighting? What was your start into MMA?
It's kind of weird. I used to work with the guy, and we had watched a few UFC events, stuff together, and he just asked me one day, he's like, hey, man, you want to go do a fight? I was like, sure. I've never trained. I wrestled back in school. That's about it. And went up. It was unsanctioned stuff where you just line up and they say, all right, now you're going to fight this guy. Okay. Did about 3 fights like that. One every month pretty much. And then decided, I kind of like this. Let's do it. Let's try to have some fun with this and keep fighting. And it just kind of kept going from there.
Okay. Now, you got into the UFC, and your first fight was on 26 days' notice, which isn't a lot of time at all. So
Right.
Can you kind of explain what it was like when you got the phone call and you realized, hey, this is my ticket, but I only have 26 days to prepare? What was that like?
I was just so thrilled to fight. It made me want to fight again because, it's like I kept fighting. Like, man, what do I got to do? I'm just taking fights, whatever. And they still kept saying, get a couple better opponents or do this or do that. And we just, when I got the call, we just increased doing a couple of 2 days and 3 days, just picking it up and make sure I'm in shape. And that was get ready to do what we do.
Okay. Now, that was the first time that you went the distance in your career. Can you kind of elaborate on what that felt like to be in there for the full 15?
Most of the fight, same thing happened back when I was in high school wrestling and stuff like that. I really don't remember much of fights. I literally either have to go back and watch it, or I'll just remember bits and pieces, which I never really rewatched the fight. But I remember towards the end, I did get stuck feeling a little tired, but at the same time, the third round wasn't much of a push and pace. It was holding me down.
Okay. Then what was your thoughts on that performance?
I'm happy with the victory. Being a old wrestler, you know, wrestled back in school and stuff. Never went to college with wrestling, but, you know, I was a little upset by getting taken down, and I just didn't feel like I contested a few times, so a little upset with that part. But other than that, you know, I take the win 100%. I feel like I tried to finish the fight. You know, I've talked to a couple of judges around here before, and they look at stuff like, hey, who's trying to finish the fight? And I was going for finishes, you know, whether it be submission or whatever. I'm trying to stop the fight.
Right. Now, we saw multiple submission attempts in that match. Now, can you kind of speak on your jiu-jitsu background and, you know, what are the openings that you're seeing out there? Because, I mean, you're catching submissions from pretty funky angles, and, I mean, you were really giving Ramsey issues with it, especially with the chokes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my wrestling background helped me out with, you know, holding out of some pretty good chokes. I'm decently strong in that area. If I see it, I'm going to try it. If in practice, you know, you have obviously a lot more leeway. You can, if it fails, hey, darn, I'm in a bad position. I'll work out of a bad position or whatever, you know. In a fight, you know, obviously you don't go for the absolutely crazy one unless it's short time left, because you don't want to be that game-ending fight right there or move, and actually, you know, you're in huge trouble. But you work on it. When you're in the gym, you got to try things.
Okay. Now, are you a specific belt? Like, do you train in a gi?
I do put it on sometimes. I do have just a blue belt right now. I feel comfortable in it. Usually when I even put it on, I try to use it, not just grab on and holding on to it, but I try to use it and try to, you know, use what it's for, not just I'm just going to keep working my no-gi game when I've got this and I've got the opportunity to try to better myself in another aspect. You know, you got to use it.
Okay. Now, in your Ramsey fight, we saw you were cornered by Pat McPherson and Chris Lytle. Are you still working with those guys for this fight?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'll be out there with me.
Okay.
Along with my jiu-jitsu coach, Alan Stockman. He'll be out there with me. They're a bunch of great guys.
Okay. Is Chris Lytle still a firefighter?
It sure is.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge Chris Lytle fan. I always was a big fan of his, with his crafty submissions and his bombs.
It's hard not to be, really, if you think about it. I mean, he goes out there and he fights, but on a good show, and he'll go. No matter what happens, he's going for you.
Yeah, I was a huge Chris Lytle fan. Still am. But, okay, so let's talk about your next opponent. I mean, what do you really know about him? Have you seen any footage on him or come up with, like, a specific game plan for him?
A little bit. I mean, people just, you know, what are you going to do? You know, it's mainly about, you know, a little bit of the strengths. So you more so stay away from, or, you know, walk the punch. If you know that's what he's best at, you still work your game no matter what. And, you know, you just watch out for what they got as you're working your game.
Okay. I mean, this is interesting because both of you guys are undefeated going into this. It's both of your guys' second fight in the UFC. And both of you are coming off split decision victories. So, not to mention that, but your last fight for both of you was also in 2015. So there's a lot of similarities in this match.
Right.
Where do you see yourself going after this? Like, what are your goals for this?
I'm definitely hoping to finish this fight and fight again this year, a couple more times if possible. You know, I definitely I enjoy fighting. There was I tell everybody this too, that there was recently a lottery. There was like $1 billion lottery or whatever it was. I was like, man, even if I won that, I'd still fight just because it's enjoyable.
Okay, I dig it.
Why not? It's if you do a job that you don't like and you're miserable all the time, why don't you try to change that? I'm doing something I like doing, and keep doing it until I don't like it no more. And that's going to be a long time. Who doesn't like to punch somebody and get paid to do it?
I dig it, man. What's your contract situation like with the UFC? Now, of course, you got in on short notice, but after that, did you sign a contract with them, or is it a fight-by-fight basis?
It was immediately fight contract. So I've got a few more to go.
Okay, so before you even fought Ramsey, you signed a multi-fight deal.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I guess it was, I'm stepping in a short notice from maybe go do me a little favor or something.
Okay. Now, what can we expect from you? You get a full training camp this time. What can we expect to see differently that we didn't see necessarily in your debut?
Some UFC jitters for your first one. I didn't really feel any different, but it must have been some subconscious thing. And I look back at it and I'm coming hard.
Okay. Do you have any sponsors outside of Reebok?
Give like media shout outs and stuff like that. Obviously, we can't do anything on when we have like weigh-ins or anything like that. You can't have anything other than Reebok, but got some guys that'll stick by me a little bit. Okay.
And does that help out through your fight camp?
Oh yeah, definitely. The extra little things, whether I got to get some, whether it just be even protein or paying for dues or anything like that, it definitely helps.
Okay. Now, do you have a full-time job, or are you just 100% focused on fighting right now?
My job before even the UFC was I'm pretty much with the kids. I'm always with my kids, and then I fight. That's it.
Okay.
When my daughter was first born, I had to quit my job to afford to be able to basically do that. It would cost more money to send her to daycare and everything like that than it was to me work. So
that's real.
I quit and watched her, and then I had my son. So now I'm literally with my two kids right now.
That's real, man. That's real life. All right.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything better. I mean, enjoy having fun with the kids and at the same time, what you like doing.
All right. Do you have a prediction for this fight? How does Andrew Holbrook see this going down?
I'm gonna get the win quick. Hopefully, first round. I'm thinking.
Okay. Do you think we'll ever see a nickname for you?
No, I don't know. I've always thought about that. People ask that all the time, and I think back to when I first started watching fights and stuff. Sometimes you don't remember people's actual name. You just remember them as their nickname.
Yeah.
I mean, if it ever happens, it happens. But I want people to know my name, know who I am.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not a lot of people know Quentin Jackson, but everyone knows Rampage.
Right.
All right, Andrew Holbrook, I definitely appreciate your time. You got a fight coming up July 8th against Joaquim Silva. I hope I said that right. I don't know if it's Joaquim, one of the two.
I've heard it a few different ways. We'll find out when I actually talk to him. I'd like to know that myself.
All right, well, I definitely appreciate you taking out the time. I know you're very busy. You got a big fight coming up, and best of luck to you, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, thanks. You too.
There you have it, folks. Undefeated UFC lightweight Andrew Holbrook. Is he an up-and-comer? Is he going to keep the O? Is the O going to go? Who knows? Tune in and find out. July 8th, International Fight Week, UFC. It's going to be the Ultimate Fighter 23 finale, maybe? I think it's the 23rd. Yeah, Ultimate Fighter 23. Go check it out. In the meantime, stay tuned to Bloody Elbow for event coverage. You can find me on Twitter at @TheEddieMercado. Read Bloody Elbow. And be a good person. Is that too much to ask? Can I ask for everyone to be a good person? Have a good one.